I started watching a new show recently.
Yeah.
That I'm very intrigued in. That it was a Netflix recommendation about a dance cult. Have you seen any of these shows on Netflix?
I have not. The only dance-related show I know is Dance Moms, that I had not seen any of until 2 weekends ago. I was in Harrisburg visiting a buddy out there, and we were watching Dance Moms the one night, and it was a very interesting show.
Okay, I'm not going to ask why you were watching Dance Moms with
very
this friend in
much-
Harrisburg.
No, so he works for the baseball team out there, and I was at the game, and we got back to his place around like 10:30, and just needed to he just threw something on, and it happened to be Dance Moms.
Yeah,
Very
it was
interesting
probably
show.
where he
That's
picked
for sure.
up. He probably picked up watching where he had left off the previous episode,
I think that's pretty much.
and it was just
That sounds about right. Yeah.
well, that
kind of
that,
a wacky show, though. A lot of wacky people on that show.
Well, that's where JoJo Siwa got her start.
Yes,
was on Dance Moms.
I
She was on.
Made that connection about halfway through the first episode when they showed some trailer for. I think it was like a reunion episode. I'm like, holy cow, that's JoJo Siwa, and now she's doing horrible dances on TikTok.
Yeah, and she's
And
crazy,
dressing
but that was
a member of Kiss.
well, yeah, but that was that kind of was a cult because Abby Lee Miller was crazy and still
yeah.
is crazy.
I would say
mean,
she's
there
not
was
dead.
a lot of
She's
yelling.
alive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Absolutely crazy.
this new show that I'm watching is about a cult that recruited dancers to be a part of. The show is called where I just had the name pulled up because I can't think of the Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. So this is a TikTok cult where they would recruit TikTok dancers.
Is this a Netflix original?
I believe it is. Yes.
Okay. Can we talk about how
believe it
good
is.
Netflix originals normally are?
Well, we can talk about that in a second. But
Like their
I wanna-
production
I wanna-
company
I
does
wanna-
good stuff.
Well, yeah, I think they do a lot of really good stuff.
They do,
I mean,
yeah,
they have
absolutely.
Tons of quality content, and
Yeah.
it's all very similar. And I really like that genre of content.
Yeah,
Like
kind of like not true crime, but kind of true crime.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah, they do a lot of good stuff with that.
dramatization documentary style kind of thing where they
Yeah,
have
yeah. That's a good way
it's
to
a
put
lot
it.
of like true to life kind of stuff, and it's
Yes.
no different with this show. And so like the first episode, it follows like these two sisters who one of them gets like kind of sucked in to join this cult, and then like totally loses contact, like totally blocks like the whole family, and very like just out of nowhere totally cuts all ties and connections with their family. And
Oh wow.
it kind of talks about the family's struggle with that, and like how do you deal with something like that. And it's just, and then it obviously dives a little bit more into the cult itself and kind of
Sure.
like the inner workings and what this guy who's in charge did before that. I also just watched another cult thing on Netflix about the Waco incident in Waco, Texas.
Did you? What is that? Oh my gosh.
Waco. It's called Waco.
No, the name of the series, is it just Waco?
It's something to do with
American
Waco.
Apocalypse. That's it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Fantastic. Fantastic.
That show was great.
Oh my gosh. The
And-
whole Waco siege is just something that I find incredibly interesting because it's just like it just seems so like otherworldly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these cult things. I mean, that's where I draw the similarities between Waco and this new show. Is
Sure.
like it's very similar hierarchy structure kind of thing, where everyone is totally cut out from the outside world.
Yeah.
and it just totally follow the one leader.
Yeah.
But what I found most interesting about Waco, I don't know, like, did you watch the series?
I did, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It's very good. And I didn't know a lot about the Waco incident. Obviously, I
Sure.
wasn't born or alive when that was all going on.
Sure.
And so, like, my parents knew about it. and like they hadn't watched it, and my dad remembered the guy's name.
Yeah.
David Koresh, who was
Yeah.
kind of in charge down there. But it was very informative in that way, in that I could then understand what happened and like, how and not that I'm giving any opinions on what law enforcement should or should not have been doing, but how they handled the situation and, the rights and wrongs that they kind of went through
Yeah.
in that series was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And like it was cool because it used a lot of real footage, because it was like a media frenzy down there.
Oh my
And,
gosh, yeah.
like they would have people talking, and then they'd have audio recordings, and they'd have actual video footage of those people.
Yeah.
And it was, again, another very similar comparison to this new series,
Yeah.
where they have a lot of actual footage, a lot of actual video, like audio, video recordings of this guy doing his teachings and stuff. And like, they'll talk about something that happened, and then they'll cut to the audio recording of him talking about it during one of his, sermons or whatever he called them, preach, hours or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it was. Yeah, I think you would like that if you liked Waco. It's very similar kind of vibe.
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
This
I
new
may need
show.
to watch then. This reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen Mindhunter?
I couldn't get into Mindhunter.
You couldn't get into Mindhunter? Oh my gosh, I found that so interesting.
Yeah.
I found that, for those of you that don't know what it is, it follows pretty much the FBI, like founding their like behavioral science unit essentially, and like criminal profiling and like digging into like the minds of these like serial killers and stuff like that as to why they did. I found that really interesting too.
Yeah. I mean, that's
all
basically
of those kind of like, I don't know, they're like you kind of called them like glorified like docu series kind of, or dramatized docu series.
Yeah.
I think that's the word you use. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that, I really liked Criminal Minds.
I have not seen
that's-
Criminal Minds. I probably should if I like the stuff that I do.
I mean, that's a totally just follows the behavioral science unit
Sure.
at Quantico, but like, yeah, no, I just couldn't for some reason get into Mindhunter. It wasn't my cup of tea. They had a couple series though. It was called Manhunt. I don't know if you've seen any of the Manhunt series.
I have not, no.
I watched the Manhunt Unabomber one a few times. That was where they caught
Wait, I have. Yeah.
Ted Kaczynski.
Yes, I watched that very early on in having Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
That
And then
was
they did
very
another
good.
one on the Union or Marathon Park bombing or something in Boston.
Oh, the Boston
where
Marathon bombing.
No.
No, different one?
No, different one.
Well,
there was
Netflix did just put out, well,
Olympic
not
Park.
just put out, but recently did one about the Boston Marathon bombing,
Yes, I did see that,
which that was also very good.
but I didn't. I actually, I mean, I haven't watched that yet. But the other Manhunt one was for the Centennial Olympic Park
Oh, okay.
bombing, where they tried to frame the security guard who found
that
the
was
bomb.
that
'cause
was
they
down in
thought-
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because they had thought that he had planted it or
Yes.
something. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was very strange, like situation again, because it's always fun to see, at least for me, to go through their process for investigations. I mean,
Yep.
I just find all that stuff really cool,
Yeah.
and like how they reach conclusions that they do, and sometimes they jump to conclusions, as everyone does, but
Yep.
that takes a toll on this guy's life. And I mean, the guy who was in charge there, or the security guard who found the bomb, like his whole life was turned upside down because
Yeah.
of that. And
Yeah.
so,
Oh, this is another good one I just thought of. I'm looking through my Netflix watch history.
oh boy,
This one is really good. It's called Evil Genius. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I think
It's
I
about-
watched that.
It's about a bank robbery in Erie where the guy
he had the collar on.
he has the bomb collar on. He's sent
Yep.
to hold up this bank. Yeah. Oh, that's a crazy story too. Yeah. All of those stories, like those like true crime ones. I know it's like very like like the thing to watch, I guess now, because it's like true crime has picked up a ton in the last 5 years, in terms of like being popular and wanting people to like hear more about, but like I just love like all that stuff that like just dives into these cases that you never hear about and just goes into the, the investigation and stuff. I find it super interesting.